Hey guys, welcome back to the Clifford Project, log date January 12th, 2025. For today, we had come up with some ideas about what we want Clifford to be, and we were really playing around with the idea of making it open up into the environment. You can kind of see that here in the first picture to our left, where you see that the back now can fold down, kind of like you would see at a medieval castle, I guess. Um, I was thinking that, well, let me back up. Let me start with why I kind of came to this conclusion. Um, there are two big ideas that keep reoccurring whenever I think about the design of Clifford, and that is one, that I want it to feel homey, and two, that I want to be able to kind of interact with it much like I did with the aircraft carrier whenever I was living aboard one. So, along those lines, I was thinking, how can I create something that feels somewhere between an intersection of like a log cabin, a aircraft carrier, and I kind of came to the conclusion that it would be like a wooden boat. So a boat on wheels is kind of what I was playing around with whenever I started doodling. And so that's how we came up with this bridge, this drawbridge, I guess, this patio. And so you can see that there's chains along the sides here that would hoist the ladder up and down. Um, what else about it? Yeah, I was thinking that there's some way to operate this in some part of the vehicle. Maybe some type of control panels that are attached to the wall on either side, and I can like hit a button. Probably not though, because like I said, I want to interact with it. So maybe like turn a wheel that turns some gears and pulls on some chains, and that's how you get the actual movement of the door. Um, and yeah, you can kind of see that with this note. Where should the control center sit? I was thinking that the control center would also be not just for the door, but for other parts of the vehicle, like AC control, heating, um, power to various equipment. Um, Another idea that you can kind of see that was highlighted was, where will the plants go? Because another idea, well, along the ideas of the home uh, characteristic that I really want to develop is I want plants. I know that I really like plants. I like taking care of plants. I like the way that they look, the way they make you feel, watching them grow over time. It's just really pleasant. So I was thinking, like, what if I could grow plants in the ceiling somehow? Again, kind of strange, but yeah, I want plants on my log cabin ship on wheels. So just kind of wondering where I would put them. Um, and this other note over here about what about a unique roof, that just kind of comes from the thought process of like, I know I want solar panels on the roof. Is that all I want though? I know I've thought about having a skylight installed, and I'm gonna need some space for vents to be installed to move air out of the vehicle. Um, I know I could potentially want some storage space, and if I wanted storage space, I would also want some type of space to kind of maneuver so I can get up to the storage space and maybe walk around a little bit. So that's a lot of things right there. There's like a patio, storage, power supply from solar panels, and whatever else. So I do want a unique roof, although how does that look like? What does that hold? And how do my needs and wants transition into an actual design? It's kind of where this doodle was trying to guide me. Um, yeah, and you can also see on the right side. Ignore all this is just don't look at that. Those are notes from a van lifer that I was talking to, and actually the van lifer helped me conclude to the fact that I do want something that feels homey. And yeah, so we're looking at the notes down below. You can see that I really was kind of playing around with that idea of like, can we have the vehicle somehow open up into the environment? What if it wasn't a door that swung open? What if it was a little patio that swung down? And maybe it's not just one. Maybe one of them's a patio that swings down. Maybe one of them is a door that swings open. Maybe it's a combination of them all. And that's kind of where that doodle was taking me. Looking at the notes, again, how are you going to operate these chains that move these doors? How is the bed going to move? I was thinking that the bed was going to be in the rear originally, and it was going to move up and down, up whenever I'm not using it, so it's out of the way, and down whenever I am using it. How would that operate? Would that operate off the similar like chain system that I was thinking for the doors? Eventually, I started coming up with the idea maybe I want a Murphy bed so that it can be tucked away during the day in a more spacious way, a way that kind of, because with this you are kind of limited your head space. It's going to be up above, even if it's tucked away. You might still hit your head on it. So I was starting to think maybe I'll go towards a Murphy bed situation, which if you don't know what a Murphy bed is, it's a bed that kind of folds up into the wall. And another idea that I was having back to the left drawing over here is that I was thinking of having all of my anything that I'm going to really make on the left side and create kind of this open space on the right side. And that's kind of why I was leaning towards the Murphy bed, because I could attach the bed potentially to the wall right here, and whenever it comes down, it folds down and creates a bed that is useful and really using maximum amount of space, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let's clear some of this up. Let's see, what other notes did we have going on? If anything is fixed, how would that look? Because I was thinking, you can kind of see that I have a computer set up right here, like a little workstation. But if I did have that, how would the wires work exactly? Because maybe it's an electronic that's hanging on the wall, and if this wall is going to be opening and closing, then the electrical wires are going to have some slack that can be pulled, and also slacking whenever necessary. So that idea crossed my mind. With this note down here, how's this desk going to look? I was really thinking about proportions and like what do I find to be a comfortable desk, because being comfortable at your desk is so important if you're going to be working on your desk for hours at a time. So I was starting to think about proportions, like I mentioned, and somebody recommended a book that is all about the body and how it moves through space, which I feel like is going to be crucial and critical whenever designing this space, because like I mentioned earlier, I want the space on the right to be open so I can feel some type of open space, but also I am going to need, space design to actually function, and how is my body going to relate to both of those? Let's see, in this last note, do you want the doors to open the same way? What about one big gate? Yeah, we kind of already touched on that. And I guess there is another note on the left side. What do you want to put here? What do you want to put here? There's some space right there that I was kind of contemplating, and I don't think we really need to worry about that note at the moment. Moving on. Here we have Clifford from a side view. We can see that let's start with this drawing. So you can see that there's some solar panels on the roof. These four in the corner are just typical solar panels. I was thinking that this roof that I had sketched is this one right here, and that these portions are kind of at a small incline, as well as this one over here, but that this center one would be more flat and a little bit elevated, as you could see right here. That way you can put a window right there, and you can let light in, and that might be a good way to like create a space for somewhere for the plants to exist. And that's kind of where I was going with this doodle, was trying to figure out how would I want solar panels to relate to the roof plan, which I mentioned earlier. Moving on to the other side, again, just kind of playing with the idea of solar panels. Where would they go? How would they fit? If they weren't in the center for this sketch, you can see that you would have big solar panels on the forward portion of the truck, and then in this rear portion, again, you would have this almost flat type of roof. And then I was thinking, oh, you can see it on the other drawing that I had, if I had a skylight, which I put in both of these, somewhere on that flat portion of roof. So that's just a way to get, those various things that I had mentioned, like what if I wanted more than just solar panels on the roof? What I wanted a skylight, for example. Continuing to move on, we have this other sketch which just kind of shows both the ideas coming together about what do I want the roof to look like, what do I want the walls, how do I want them to operate if I make them operate, and how would that look like with them all together. Yeah, you can just see this note that ended up creating this doodle over here. So yeah, that's just kind of where these doodles were focused towards, the idea of just what do I want the roof to look like, layout, and how do I want that to interact with the wall situation that I got going on. Again, playing with the same ideas that we've been playing with this entire time. In this doodle on the right side over here, we can see that the cab would be on the bottom of the page towards the forward portion of the truck. So this is just a rendering of what would it look like if, instead of having like a door and a patio and another door that could open up, what if we just made it one big one like we had designed in the earlier drawings, where it's just one big almost drawbridge that can fold down and up. So that was just that idea. Over on the left hand side, let's see. I think it's a lot of what else I had been thinking, just redrawn again. You can see the control panel that I mentioned, having some type of desk and how would I fit in that. Thinking again about the bed and how the bed might get in the way. Another idea that I had, oh, and the cab's over here, just so that you know, and this is the rear down here. But another idea that I had much later on, and that's why it's in blue, is what if I had a rainbow maker? Like, what if I had some type of spray system that you can just hit a button and some nozzles open up and spray some water? Because, rainbows are just light and water. And it'd be kind of cool if I could just make on-demand rainbows. Definitely add some character to the vehicle. I forget what exactly I had thought that made me come to that conclusion, but yeah, that's what these doodles were all about, and we'll see how that actually plays out later on. But thanks for watching, and let me know what you think about any of these ideas. Appreciate your time, and yeah, look forward to having some more conversations with y'all. Take care. Love y'all.